Thanks to the Eagles losing again and being on the verge of a very real collapse, just like 2023, the Dallas Cowboys' playoff hopes, even after losing against the Lions, are indeed still alive. We're going to break down everything you need to know on today's video. But first, if you want the Cowboys to make the playoffs somehow, some way, when how many of us had, I think, rightfully written them off for dead, like the video, please, and thank you if you want the Cowboys to somehow make the postseason. The Cowboys do sit as the 10 seed, quote unquote, in the NFC playoff picture. As we'll discuss, the path to the wild card is hard. The big ones to monitor are those 9-4 teams in the Niners and Bears. And then also, most importantly, the Philadelphia Eagles, who have dropped 3 straight games and now sit at 8-5. And look beatable and gettable in the division. The Cowboys' truly only viable path to the postseason, I believe, is an Eagles collapse, which we may already be in the midst of, and the Cowboys basically win out and win the division. That is how I emphasize the viable path, because it's better than double that path versus the wild card in terms of the odds. The NY Times playoff sim here, 11% make the playoffs chance right now. The division is at 8%. Making the wild card is at 3%, and that'll change each game. And if the Eagles lose against the Raiders, it would probably jump even more than what the projected win boost is supposed to be, because it makes the Raiders look like a really, really, really bad team. This is your NFC East race. There isn't really any tiebreakers to worry about unless there's another tie, which I thought we were going to get last night, to be honest. I really thought I was going to have to do a lot of effort and figure out what the heck the tiebreakers are here. Eagles have a 1.5 lead over the Dallas Cowboys. 4 games to go. Can the Cowboys close that 2-game differential? Win out, Eagles lose 3. Win 3, Eagles win only 1. We'll see. Eagles lose 2 on the first one, by the way. Will the Cowboys win the NFC East? Y for yes, N for no. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Y for yes, N for no. It is the pinned comment on today's video. We are going to emphasize the Eagles since the bye. They barely beat the Packers 10-7. The offense was bad. They barely beat the Lions 16-9. The offense was bad. They lose against the Cowboys. They were up 21-0 in that game, and boy, it sure kind of feels like that the Cowboys may have broken the Eagles in that matchup. They lose against the Bears, 24-15. They were, again, up in that game and closed. And after 5 Jalen Hurts turnovers, including 2 on the same play, which is unbelievable and has never been done in the NFL, I believe, a pick and a fumble on the exact same play, the Eagles lose against the Chargers in overtime in this recent run that they have been on. The Eagles are averaging less than, barely, 14 points per game. It is a huge issue right now in Philadelphia. That the defense is still very good. They sacked Herbert 7 times in the game. And then the offense is terrible. And it's not just the play caller, by the way. The quarterback's having a very tough time of it as well. Their schedule, though, isn't that hard. A game against the Raiders, 2 games against the Commanders, one of which is on Saturday in Week 16. Noteworthy. Week 17, they play the Buffalo Bills. That is a road game, by far their toughest game left, and frankly, a game I don't expect them to win. So can they drop one of these other 3 games? Raiders and twice against the Commanders, all of whom are out, or both of whom are out of the playoff picture. That's what the Cowboys need if they can get back to their winning ways. Since the bye, the Cowboys have won 3 of 4 games. They went 2-1, which is what I'm always aiming for on that brutal 3 games in 11-day stretch. Easier said than done. Boy, you sure wish you would have beat the Lions. Or really, you wish you'd beaten the Cardinals pre-bye, frankly. Cowboys defense still has massive concerns. The Cowboys defense and the Eagles offense is the worst team in football. The Cowboys offense and the Eagles defense might not have lost a game this year. Anyway, Cowboys scheduled on the stretch. They play the Vikings on Sunday Night Football. The Chargers in Week 16. The Commanders in Week 17 on Christmas Day, and then Week 18 at the Giants. So we're cheering for the Commanders every game but one, essentially, down the stretch here. It is not easy, but the door is open for the Cowboys. More on this to come, but today's show is made possible by Ethos. As a father of 2 kids, it's not fun to think about what would happen if something happened to you, but you do need to be prepared. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos. Get your free quote at ethos.com/NFL daily. That's ethos.com/NFL daily. Ethos is a trustworthy company that disrupts the traditional life insurance industry. And as of March 2025, Business Insider named Ethos the #1 no medical exam instant life insurance provider. Ethos is an online platform that makes life insurance fast and easy to protect your family's future in minutes, not months. There is no complicated process, and it's 100% online. No medical exam is required. You just answer a few health insurance and get a quote in as little as 10 minutes. 3 million families have completed their applications and trusted Ethos to help find the right coverage for them. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos. Get your free quote at ethos.com/NFL daily. That's ethos.com/NFL daily. Application times may vary, rates may vary. Links to the comment section and the description of today's show. The Cowboys don't technically have to win out to have a chance to make the playoffs, but from a practicality perspective, they're going to have to. I think it'd be asking too much for the Commanders and the Raiders to win a combined 2 games, even if the Bills do, against the Eagles and make the postseason. So in reality, they have to win their remaining 4 games. Not easy, by the way. It would also mean the Cowboys end the year on an absolute heater. They would have gone 7-1 in that time frame, which is an incredible stretch for any team. Shows you how bad they began the year. Even if you go 6-2 down the stretch, I feel like that gives you a lot of confidence going into next year. But even if the Cowboys win out, based on the NY Times playoff machine sim, 54% chance to make the playoffs. They need a lot of help still. Now, if the Eagles lose against the Raiders, all of a sudden we're at 85% if the Cowboys win out. Because the odds are still against the Cowboys, even if they win all 4 of their remaining games. But the vibes are bad in Philly. Go figure, the positivity bunny didn't work. Who amongst us is surprised by that one? This could be a potential 2023-esque Eagles collapse. The big difference, the Eagles' defense is actually really good, and they can win games by themselves, especially against the Commanders and the Raiders. So will the Cowboys win their final 4 games of the season? 4 for yes, 3 for no. They're going to end up dropping one. Let me know in the comment section of today's show. I'd be remiss if I did not at least mention the slim path that exists for the Dallas Cowboys in the wild card. Even if they win out to get a wild card, they have a 17% chance. The amount of help required here is a little bit too much. Now, the Panthers and Bucks, at minimum, one of those teams is going to finish with 8 losses, and that would take the other one out. So, you'd be okay there. You're not really too worried about the Bucks or Panthers, but the Rams and Seahawks have 10 wins. The Niners and Bears and the Packers have 9 wins. The Lions are ahead of you with 8 wins. The Panthers technically as well. You'd need a collapse from, frankly, 2 of the remaining playoff teams. That's why that Lions win would have mattered, because you essentially would have helped the Lions get out of the way. You would need, in reality, these teams to lose all these games. Like, are the Bears are maybe the team to monitor here. Browns this week, and then very tough games against the Packers, Niners, and Lions. Well, this is part of the conversation of why those odds are so low. The Lions play the Bears. So even if the Bears lose that game, the Lions get a win. You kind of need multiple outcomes of specific results in specific games here because of the way things set up. The Rams schedule makes me think they're going to be in. We're probably just cheering for the Rams if you want to keep that very minimal wild card hope and dream alive, because they play the Lions in Week 15. Also the Seahawks too, by the way. Packers have the Broncos, then the Bears. At this point, you're either cheering for the Packers to lose every single game, or if they beat the Broncos, cheer for them over the Bears to keep the Bears down a little bit. Seattle, meanwhile, against maybe Phillip Rivers. Super fun there. Not that hard of a schedule. I'm kind of giving the Seahawks and Rams 2 the spots. Packers get a spot. I kind of think the Niners get a spot too, because they got the Titans this week, a Colts team on the brink, the Bears again, this is why it's hard to make the wild card, because someone's getting a win or a tie, and then you lose tiebreakers against the Bears, so it doesn't even help you that much. Seattle in Week 18, going to be a tough one too. The Lions schedule isn't the easiest. I could see them kind of falling out here. That Steelers game might be your swing game if they can't beat the Rams, but then it's the Vikings and the Bears. Again, I'll make note of the Panthers and Bucks here briefly, just back-to-back. Saints, the Seahawks game, whatever. The Bucks schedule is cupcake. Falcons, the Panthers, those 2 games will determine the NFC South winner. Then the Dolphins as well. I think you're just worried about, like, can some combination of the Niners, Lions, and Bears collapse? I don't think that's going to happen. Maybe one, probably not both. So while the Cowboys make this playoff push, we're live for every single Dallas Cowboys game. Free videos we'll break down like we did last night with the Late Night Short. Hey, this helped you a lot. Hit that sub button if you haven't already. So the Week 15 rooting guide, in order of the biggest potential swings, by the way. We are very much in favor of, obviously, the Raiders beating the Eagles. That would be a very big deal for you. That would boost your chances to make the playoffs significantly. The Browns are over the Bears. Tough to pull off, but it would kind of crack the door on the wild card. The reason why, there's like a 30-point percentage swing if the Cowboys win out if the Raiders win, because that's how much it matters there. Titans over the Niners, again, seems unlikely. Rams over the Lions. We're just going to give the Rams a spot. We're not worried about them. We want to knock the Lions down for those very, very slim wild card dreams. Colts over Seattle again for the wild card. Broncos over Packers because it's an AFC game. We might cheer for the Packers elsewhere, but hey, at least help that draft pick a little bit too. But the big one, Raiders over Eagles. Pete Carroll somehow help us out.